once again. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in big. Wake up in a
Not start over. That was not what I was trying to do. Tech always loves me. I am Sondra Ray, and I am one of the hosts of the Coffee Chat Show. We are entrepreneurs from all over the world, and we talk about topics that apply to small businesses, entrepreneurship. Though this topic today, I think, applies to everyone, every single person in the planet Earth, period, because this one is an important one. So today's topic is cybersecurity. Again, unless you're living in a mountain with zero things attached to you, this applies to you. Yeah, traveling, so on and so forth. I know I just had issues with cybersecurity like 3 weeks ago. It happens to even the ones that are diligent in it. It just, unfortunately, it's always changing. It's always moving. So I think this topic is extremely important. So that's why we, of course, went and got an expert on the topic. So Miss Darlene has been a tribe member for a while, and we are super grateful because we can always tap into her knowledge. So Miss Darlene, will you give us just some tips, just more information on this amazing topic?
Mm-hmm. And it is something that does affect everybody. And I have to say, even if you're out in the mountains, in the middle of nowhere, and you're not connected, if somebody knows you are out in the middle of the mountains and not connected, they're going to use your ID and they're going to find it somehow, because all that information is out there for everybody to see. So I thought today, scam prevention is such a global topic. But I think, we need to really protect who we are working with. We really need to protect ourselves. We need to protect our clients. We need to protect our family. And they say if you help one person, you've helped many. And I always recommend people do share any information that you get in regards to scam prevention. Because if you're hearing about it, it's happening, and it could happen to you. It could happen to your loved ones. It could happen to your business. It could happen to your client. It just can happen everywhere. And so one of the things that I really like to do is talk about the 5 common types of scam. And so it's a quick 5 minutes. And so what I want to talk about is phishing. I know everybody talks about phishing, and it is the most common scam people get caught up in. And I don't know if it's the word phishing. A lot of people that I know like phishing. Not that kind of phishing. It's not. It's the phishing phishing. And it is, like I said, the most common scam. And it's mostly common because it's human error. People are making it because they're tired, because they're in a hurry, they're not sure, they have FOMO, the fear of missing out, they're curious. So what is phishing? Well, phishing is a type of scam where the scammers impersonate trusted people to steal sensitive information such as your username, your passwords, your identity, your financial details. And how it works is scammers often send emails, texts, call you, and they are very good at pretending to be coming from a reputable source like banks or businesses, your vendor, your boss if you have one, or even your friends. And these types of communications usually ask you to click on malicious links or download harmful attachments. Some phishing scams direct victims to fake websites, which, designed to capture your login credentials. Sorry, that's my dog in the background. And prevention tips for that are to verify, and I mean really verify, your sender's email address. Always check the sender's email address to ensure it's legitimate. Look for small misspellings or unusual domains. Photos aren't clear. Now, with AI, it's getting harder and harder to weed out the fake stuff, and it takes longer to determine if it is fake. You're better off to spend that extra time rather than get scammed. If you're tired, if you're in a hurry, you're not fully paying attention because you have distractions around you, I highly recommend waiting if you're not sure, and if you absolutely are not 100% sure that you should be clicking on that. So do not click. It's always a don't click. Do not click any unknown links. Avoid clicking on links or downloading attachments from senders you do not recognize. And even then, the scammers are really good at pretending to be that's people that. So especially if the thing is to really think, is this an unsolicited link, meaning you are not the one inquiring about them? And then using anti-phishing software. Install and regularly update. You have to update. And I know a lot of people say, well, I don't want to update because every time I update, it slows down my computer. All of these updates are important because it's adding on new methods of protecting you. And the one thing that I highly, highly recommend is ask your clients, your vendors, or anyone you do business with if they have antivirus or phishing software, because it's something that you really should they should have in order to protect you as well. Then there's email compromises. That's very similar to phishing. These are people that are sending out emails, but it's usually an urgent request. They want they express urgency and are usually vague because they're rushing you. Like in the email, it could be someone went on a trip and they're stuck somewhere. So you really need to be careful about any urgency methods. And the way to prevent that is always verify your financial requests directly. If possible, use video chats if you can. We have a lot of different methods that people can use. Definitely implement multi-factor authentication and educate anyone that you're working with. And I do want to bring up, I know probably ran out of time already. Fake invoices. People don't think about fake invoices as being a scam. But these are fraudulent bills that you may receive, and you're not sure if you receive the service, but why would somebody send you a bill? So you must have. Scammers send professional-looking invoices that closely resemble legitimate ones, and their aim is to trick you into paying for a non-existent product or services. So always, always cross-check your invoices and establish a verification process. Implement a routine process to verify the authenticity of all of the invoices before making any kind of payment. Investment scams. Investment scams are something that really take longer than just a couple of seconds, but I just really want to um, for avoiding the tips of investment scams is thoroughly research any investment opportunity. And there is a website that you can check if you have a URL. If you have a website, and it's called scamalert.org. And if you type in your information on there, you can find out if the risk of it being a scam, or if you just type in a regular URL, you type in the name of the company and then you write scam beside it, or you type the word complaint, then you'll find out if it's something that is a scam. And then there's vendor fraud. So vendor fraud occurs when scammers create fake vendor profiles and when legitimate vendors send inflated invoices or deliver substandard products. And so scammers set up fake vendors, and again, or they'll steal they'll clone somebody else's website. So in some cases, they inflate the prices also of goods and services. And so the way to prevent this, and this is my last one, conduct checks before engaging with vendors. Make sure that they are a legitimate vendor. If you're just starting a service or if you're switching vendors, make sure that it's a legit vendor. Ask for verification of their credentials and monitor transactions regularly. Like, make sure that you're auditing your payments and your vendor transaction to make sure that there's no anomalies. Like if they usually pay on the 15th, but suddenly they're paying on the 20th, or they're doing something different. And establish vendor management policies. And this is something that's really good whether you are an entrepreneur on your own or if you have multiple people that you're working with. So yeah, does anyone have any questions or?
Yeah, well, let's have a discussion about that. I know, same, if somebody contacts me, I usually go try to contact them on the number I have, or I know with the invoicing thing, I'll go to my account and I'll log in and I'll be like, I don't know invoice due. Like I don't even open it. Like if I see your invoice is due, I don't even open the email. And it's crazy because my husband works in the tech world, but he'll bring me his phone. He'll be like, "Do we owe this?" And I'll be like, "Do not open that email. Don't click on anything. Like delete, delete, delete." And yeah, and he's had his identity stolen. I had somebody open a credit card in my name just a few weeks ago, and thankfully I logged into the system and they're like, "Do you want to combine accounts?" And I was like, "I'll have two accounts. What do you mean? Do I want to combine accounts?"
Yeah.
So definitely it happens even, yeah, with diligency and things like that. I know I haven't actually purchased, as a business owner, I have cybersecurity insurance because I work with people's personal information. So as a business owner, I want to protect myself and them. So I was very much, especially while I work in the financial world sometimes with clients. And yeah, I'm like, I don't want to be in people's finances and be in charge of if something happens to my computer. So I do pay a pretty hefty premium for it, but I also know that it's going to help protect me.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring some people in on the conversation. Mr. Peter, come on in. The mute button. There you go.
Thank you so much, Sondra. Yeah, Darlene, I think that this is actually something that it's all about information. Not only is it information for scammers, but and it's almost like they seem to stay at the top of their game. The more we figure out ways to prevent it, the more they figure out ways to circumnavigate around that prevention, and they'll come up with something new. And I think it's been like that for the longest of time. So I think in my space, or in my mind, the more we educate people, and it's almost like they will attack soft targets. They will attack the elderly. They'll attack people that once they've been taken advantage of, they have nothing left. And that's life destroying, that is family destroying. The consequences that are left behind, it's almost like a warpath that there's like this path of devastation that is left behind, and they just don't care. They don't care. They will take and take. So I think the one thing that you mentioned, which is probably for me the highlight, would be share. The more we share this knowledge, the more we share tips and tricks on how to stay safe, to keep your identity safe, the more we can do that, the more people we can protect. Because if we had to look at the scam industry, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Third world economy
Yeah,
behind the US and China.
it's insane. And I was just looking at the messages on my business account, my business Facebook account. And I received a message, and I'll read it to you guys. Our automated fraud detection system has detected this image as a violation of intellectual property rights, case ID, blah, 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 blah. We are investigating this situation and placing limits on your account page. If you believe this is an error, submit and review, click on this link. No, thank
And
you.
somebody who doesn't know about scams is gonna click.
Exactly. So what I did was, for me, I look at something like that, I'm like, something doesn't feel right. But it's so close to being right, but there's just a little something that doesn't feel quite right. So I took a picture of the message. I sent it to Nastine. And I was like, something's not right about this. I'm not clicking on this. And she read the message. She was like, no, something's not right. Don't click on that. So I think definitely highlight and share any information. I think it would be great, even if we took the scamalert.org, and we can actually post that into the comments section of this live, so that everybody that's watching this actually gets to go and check it out and see what it's all about, and make sure that they stay safe, and make sure that they have the ability to check what is a scam and what is not. We currently have a whole bunch of fresh entrepreneurs in this space, and the last thing you want to have happen as a new business is suffer through a scam. It can be destroying. So learn what you have to learn and keep your space safe. And not only your space, if you're dealing with clients and their information, you have to keep their information safe too. So there must be methods in order for you to be able to do that, and certain guarantees that when you're dealing with clients that you can guarantee them. If you do business with me, these are the things that I have put in place to keep your information safe. So I am doing due diligence. I'm not just
Then I highly recommend that all of us ask, the people that we are dealing with, do you have antivirus? Do you have anti-phishing? Are you protected? Is your computer protected? Is your computer used by everybody in your house, or do you have a special business one? Those are questions that we should be asking, because if my, son comes along and is rushing by and says, "Oh, I need to check on what's on this stick. I found it and I don't know what I put on it." It might not even be a stick. He could be putting it into your computer, and it could infect what you have on it. I mean, there's just so many things. Yeah.
Right. And with the Facebook one, my Facebook notifications, true Facebook issues, come to my email. They do not come to my DM. And I tell most of my clients that way. Facebook usually will truly, if it's an issue, they will contact you through email. I don't know anybody that gets contacted through DMs. I've yet to see it. Every single time somebody's brought it to my attention, I'm like, go check your email, and there'll be nothing from Facebook. So you can set it up how your notifications come. That's a good one. If you can set up your notification, you know how they come. You know it's supposed to be email. You know it's supposed to go to this specific account or this specific place. Then it's a red flag right away. Like mine lately has been, do you want a job, through my phone, my text? Do you want a job? Do you want a job? Delete, 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 delete. Don't even answer them. Delete, 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 delete. Are you looking for a job? Do you want to make this kind of money? Yesterday it was, do you want to make $500 an hour? I was like, you're funny, but okay.
Yes, I do, but I know
I
you're
want
going to
to,
pay
but
the
not through
$500.
whatever craziness you're selling me. For sure, for sure. Hendrick, come on in, and then I'll take a couple of questions from YouTube.
Good evening, everyone. So for me, the advice I'm going to give actually is for fresh entrepreneurs like myself. It's very important that when you set up, say, for example, a website, you secure your website. Two reasons. You avoid someone tampering with them or having access to your emails. And then also you avoid being a supplier that's not trusted, because if your website is also not secured, normally with your clients, it's going to go on their junk mail. And also with regards to your junk mail, you must only open junk mail from sources that you know. For example, someone sent you an email and it went to junk. That person gives you a call. I've sent you an email about 2 days ago. That's only when you can open your junk mail or mails in your junk. The other thing is, when it comes to your emails, it's very important to have like a software which scans or goes through, verifies the emails that are coming through to see if those are suspected fraud or spam emails, and it automatically deletes those emails or sends them to junk. So it's very important to be aware and also use technology in this in your advantage to say it needs to separate these emails from your normal or day-to-day emails. Another thing I think also, just to verify, nowadays also your banks allow you to verify the person you're about to send your money to. If a company sends you an invoice and it looks fishy, you can always just check that account number against the clients that you have, if you've got a client, or just verify if that account number that you are about to make a payment into is actually the account holder. Because I've seen in instances like where fraudulent activities are happening, you pay into an account and later on they come and tell you, but no, this is actually from us. Yes, the email belongs to us, but the account number is different from ours. So if you do not go through the vetting or verifying of the account number, that can also come and bite you in the long run. So I think those are what I wanted to just say for now. Secure your websites. Have an app which scans your emails and verify your payments before you make that. If it's too good to be true, it doesn't hurt to just pick up the call and call the other person, your client on the other side, to just say, I received this email from you guys today and it's looking kind of fishy. Let them confirm that yes, they've changed their accounts or they've made changes, and then you can be able to know that everything is 100% from there.
And sometimes a person has to be aware, because they'll express an urgency. You need to pay this right now, or we're going to cut off your services. And so then people start to panic, and then they want to pay it right now. And you're right, you do need to take that time to make that call and make sure you verify the information, because companies aren't going to do that. They're not going to cut you off, and they're not going to send you an urgent pay now unless you're 3 months delinquent.
Right. You usually know if something's going to be turned off because you haven't been paying your bills. I think that's important. And I think the other thing Hendrick brought up is you call them. Anybody calls me from a company, I usually hang up, and then I will call the number that I know is valid and verify, did you call me? And in this last instance, they're like, yes, we did, because somebody's literally has opened a card, but we stopped it because something didn't look right. So I always say you call, and I've worked with a financial coach, and she's like, you call them. And even if their fraud department calls you, say, okay, I will call you back. And then usually it's like, oh, wait a minute, never mind. Mine was twice. I've had police department fraud ID theft call me, and both very convincing. Like, they told me my social security number, they told me my address, they told me my maiden name, and I'm just like, this is crazy. And thankfully I had a coach. And so I went to her and I'm like, she's like, please hang up now, please hang up on them right now. But they had all my info and can repeat it back to me. And they're like, don't you own a home and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, never. And they'll be like, oh, well, somebody, is
Yeah.
renting under your name. It does happen though. I had the opposite where somebody's ID was stolen and somebody was racking up a huge hotel bill under their name. So it does happen. But yeah, like you said, I always like the fact, hang up and be like, I will call you on the number that I know and have for your department and verify this is true. So I think that's a good one too, if you could call them versus them calling you. Awesome. Awesome.
Also wanted to mention when Hendrick mentioned about people having something that scans your email. Yes, do absolutely. But the one thing that a lot of people will get frustrated with is it takes longer for you to get your email. And I know, like, you know how you get your email and it comes just like that until you put one of these on, and then people have to wait a minute or two. Believe me, it's worth, because you're spending all that time deleting all the scam stuff anyway. So you may as well make sure what you're getting is good.
Awesome. Awesome. Mr. L, good evening, sir.
I thought you were going to go to YouTube first before you come to me. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I just want to give a few practical examples of this cyber phishing, scamming, identity theft, and all that. I registered my company on DSD, which is a government, what do you call it? Government vendor kind of a setup where government departments will send you an email if they needed your services. I kid you not, I receive a message almost daily of departments asking me for goods. Supply us with Department of Defense, supply us with 1,500 boots of this size, of this kind, and all that. And you know what? Everything looks proper. So one day I thought, let me just call them. I called them and I asked them, so is this what you're looking for? Funny enough, the number on the number that was put on, it's a number that's going to be answered by somebody that expects a call. So it means you calling a wrong person and you thinking you're calling the department because it's an 012 number, it's a Pretoria number. The department is here in Pretoria. You don't really know their number. So like, it might be a department on the other side of town. So what I did is I then said to them, okay, I can supply you with these goods. When do you need them? And they said to me, if you give us your account number, we'll pay that money and you can deliver them in a month's time. I'm like, no, this is wrong. Then I went in and checked on the what do they call them, on the vendor numbers. And you find that number, it's appearing, it's there. But when you search it, it's for a different product. It might be a number that was posted 2 months ago, even last year. And they post it now under a different department. So that happens quite a lot. And like, I just see them coming into my spam emails like, thank you, delete. Because I don't trust any one of them. The other one that happened to me, somebody on WhatsApp, somebody sent me a message using my friend's profile and said to me, I'm entering this ambassadorship, whatever, and please just take a screenshot of this and send it to me. Like, okay, so why must I do that? But then it's a guy that I know. It's a guy that I know. He's very active in the community. So I did that. What happened? They got hold of my entire contact list and started sending the same message to the people. Now, funny enough, the other messages that they sent had links where if you click, it goes into your bank account. So they can withdraw your money just like that. You know, and there's SMS ones as well. There are Facebook ones where somebody will post on Facebook, I need, or send you a direct message on Facebook, I need your help, I need 100 Rand because of this and that. They will say, I lost my bank card and I need to go and purchase. Now, you don't think about anything. I mean, this guy's lost his bank card. So what do you want to do? You want to help them with, with money because they are stranded. So what you don't think about is, but you can, from your bank on your app, you can send money to yourself and go and withdraw it. Why don't you do that? So they've caught a lot of people. My uncle was caught with that. And I think he ended up sending somebody 5,000 Rand. And it's how do they know that you got that kind of money? So these are some of the examples that practically happened to me or my close relatives that I know of. And I agree with Hendrick. Check, check, check. And Darlene, I agree with you. Do not click on any link that you suspect could be wrong. Do not. Peter, you did well by sending it to Guru Nestine, because she will read it and tell you, no, this is not, So I think the advice that I just want to reiterate what Hendrick said. Just check and be sure that you check. And I agree with Darlene when she says, if an email is delayed, it's okay. You're protecting yourself and you're protecting the email sender anyway. So rather be safe than sorry, as they say. Lesetja Mokou from Lesetja Mokou, Business Development Agents.
And Peter had mentioned something earlier about following your gut. To me, that is the number one. If it doesn't feel right, and your gut knows, if you even get a teeny weeny little twinge, stop.
And I think with WhatsApp app, I'll use a different platform. I'll be like, hey, did you send this? Or hey, did you change your number? Like, I did have a friend that was traveling the world and he did change his number frequently, but I would contact him on Facebook or another different platform and be like, hey, I know you're traveling. Did you get a different number? And he'd be like, yes or no. So I'll use a different platform to verify what's happening on WhatsApp app or LinkedIn or Facebook. LinkedIn's the same way. LinkedIn, definitely here's a job offer for blah, 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 blah. And, when I was first starting out, they're like, if they take you off the platform, because I was using oh shoot, what platform? One of the platforms, Upwork, and they flat out told you if they try to take you off this platform that they're most likely a scam. And so you were to stay on the platform to do business with people. I would do that for a couple of months. And then of course, when I established business with them, then I would take it off or whatever, because I didn't want to pay the fees, but definitely. So one of the questions from the YouTube show chat, Darlene, is on the scamalert.com. Do you need to put in specific things, or are you just asking, like, how does that website work?
With that one, if you have a URL, you just copy and paste the URL or type it in, and then it will give you a rundown of it. It gives you it'll give a percentage of where it's at. Like, is it a 31% chance, or is it they identify if it's reasonably high in being fake. Like it's something that's really I found to be quite useful. I use it all the time. And because sometimes like if you and I do say copy and paste like if you're getting it, don't type it in the scam alert, copy and paste it because the letter I and a capital L look very similar. And they'll be able to pick that up. The O and the zero, like the capital O, the capital O and the zero, they look very similar. So copy and paste that. Before you click on it, copy and paste it and put it into Scam Alert.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I love copy and paste. I have two different devices, a Mac and a laptop, but that was the first thing I had to learn on the Mac was how do you copy and paste?
I know.
And when you said about computers, the other thing I do is I shut down my computers, but I also close them. So like they're not even physically like open. I don't know where I read that, but like I don't know if that helps or not, but I do physically close the top of them now. Oh, and then somebody was talking about public Wi-Fi. Sometimes you have to use like sometimes you don't have a choice. But I know I have a hotspot purposely. My husband the other day was like, "Can we cancel this?" And I'm like, "No," because that's what I take with me when I travel or when I'm going to the gazillion medical appointments for my daughter. I have a hotspot specifically. I'm like, the $20 a month is not killing you to pay for me to have the secure hotspot. So, but how can we be secure in a public Wi-Fi? Is there a way to be secure?
No, there is not. VPNs, I mean, if you use VPN, then you're relatively, but in hotspots, like if you're using your own data, then you're reasonably safe. But if you're using theirs, and the other thing that I was surprised was that, when you go to a place and you use their plugin, that can also be a way scammers can get your identity as well. So don't plug into those places and look for any personal information.
Oh, do you mean like charging, like don't charge your device?
Chargers, yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. I haven't heard that one. No.
Yeah, that was I found that out last year and I was like surprised because I used to do it all the time in the airports.
I do too. I do the battery backup and the phone.
Yeah. And so you don't do any personal information there either.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, Mr. Peter, come on in.
Something I just wanted to highlight. If the scam is an email scam and you're receiving an email, do not contact the contact info on the email to verify whether or not it's a scam. Don't do that because they've got somebody ready and waiting to convince you that it's not when it is. So don't use any of their contact info. What you want to do, if you don't have the contact info for that particular vendor or for that particular service, then go and Google it and get the correct number. So I think that would be step number one, because they're waiting for your call. They have a whole call center waiting for your call. Avoid that number. Don't call it. Find out the correct number. Call the correct number. So step number one, don't call that. Don't call that number. It's not going to help you. However, when you do find the correct number and you do deal with the place that is being maybe misrepresented or maybe it's just a copy of their space, you're actually doing them a service because you are now informing them that there is a scam out there that is using their information, and it gives them the ability to investigate it and maybe make some changes or put something in place to protect themselves. So this is not only about us protecting ourselves, this is about us protecting those around us. So if we have a particular supplier and we get an email that comes across that doesn't seem quite right, that it might come from them, but it might not, you're not too sure, then find the original number for that supplier and call them directly.
Yeah, exactly.
You do not use the information on the email. It's not going to help you. So number one, protect yourself by finding the correct number. Number two, protect that particular vendor because their information is being used to scam people. And what that does is it creates a bad reputation for the original vendor,
Mhm.
for the original person with the original service. If their space or their logo or their brand is being taken and used in a scam space, it's destroying their brand. And we all know as entrepreneurs how difficult it is to build a trusted brand. And yet there are scammers out there that just take that trusted brand and use it to scam people. And then your brand becomes untrusted because it's being used. So you want to protect vendors from them having their information used. I have once before reached out to a legal firm to say, I've got this legal letter from your firm, and I would like to confirm that this, and they were like, we don't know who that is.
Mhm.
That's not an attorney. That's not that person doesn't work here. We don't know who that is.
Yeah.
And then they were like, could you please take pictures of all the messages? Could you take pictures of all the information and send it to us? And I was like, with the greatest of pleasure. So I copied them in on the email. I sent it through to them. And then they had the opportunity to take a look at what was being done, and they had the opportunity to protect themselves. I think the last place you want to try and replicate would be a legal firm. Not a good idea. Not a good idea for a scam.
Oh, but they will. They will.
But they will. But they
They
will.
pretend to be the police. They pretend to be, so
Yeah.
it's.
I
I
actually.
put the text in. I put the website in the Zoom chat. It's actually scamalert.sg
Oh, okay.
for checking it. And do
Awesome.
check. And I have to tell you, that is the only time that you copy and paste. Any other time, type it in the URL yourself.
Awesome. I had the privilege of watching some content on YouTube where a scammer was actually calling a person to scam them, but the person that they were calling was a police officer and they were in the police station. So this person was giving them the address, is this address, which is the address of the police station. Like if you want to do, then this is where you need to come and meet me. So, and it was almost inviting the scammer to come to their home, but it's the residential space of the police station. So and there was about 5 or 6 police officers all standing in a group while she was on the phone with the scammer, and they were all giggling. You phoned a police station to try and scam someone. So I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. On the YouTube show, somebody brought up blocking IP addresses. Is that helpful, or like if you're getting multiple emails from, how you get one, you get a gazillion, and
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
on and so forth.
It's helpful.
So,
Yeah.
okay. And how do you do that for us non-techie people?
That one, I always have to get help on that one. Yeah,
Okay.
I just.
Okay, so he answered. The company hosting your email or website has this facility on their cPanel. Okay. Passwords, that's coming up multiple times. How do we protect ourselves with our password? Do we use a company? Do we just change it a gazillion times? Or like, what are the best
always good to
tips?
change, because and I have to. I think it's a scary thing, but there are even those password protection places. Some of them have been hacked and held for ransom. And no matter where you go, they ask you for your email. They ask you for your phone number. That when you go into a store and you buy a pair of shoes and they want to send you all that information, and so they want your phone number, or to a bookstore. Don't give that information, because someone can come along and they can come along and hack them and hold it for ransomware and hold it for ransom. So it's really always give everywhere you go. Ask yourself, why do they need this information? They don't give it. and only give what you need, what they need to do business with you. Never give your social insurance number out. Never give, any banking information out to people. Well,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And a lot of websites will tell you what they need. Like we'll never ask you for, or we'll never, I have banks that say we will never call you, we'll never ask you for your account number, via text, or I've had a lot of banks and credit card companies be like, we don't do that. If you do that, do not give that information.
Right.
So take heed to that, because a lot of times you can go on their website, the official website that maybe you signed up with, and be like, hey, is this how you do business? And they'll be like, no or yes. And that's just another way of quality checking different companies, because there was another person, Mr. L, that said they got an official letter from the government asking for boots so, on the letterhead with the logo defense and everything. So yeah, I usually put, I am the master of the junk mail, like physical junk mail. Like it's like it goes quickly. And my husband would be like, is this? I'm like, no, don't. Yeah, shredding it, definitely as a big one. I know with me, we did sending codes. I know that can be a pain in the butt when you're working with clients. I get it, but it's there. It's for their safety. It's for your safety. Trust me, I have people all over the world, so time zones and everything else. And I'll be like, okay, well, I can't do the work until you're available. So usually what I say is when you're available to give me codes, then we can do your work, is what I do as a virtual assistant, because I'm like, I'm stuck, can't get on the platform until you give me the code. But just have a process for that and be like, hey, this time is when I'm working. I'm going to need codes from you. I'm logging in. I'm the one logging in. Because I had somebody the other day, I was like, why are you logging in? Like they do work for me. And he's like, oh no, it was me. I must have been, I logged out and it sent me a notification that somebody in Africa logged into my social media. And I'm like, oh, is this my social media manager or is this another issue? Thankfully, it was my social media manager and it was all good. But I was like, are you? And he's like, no, yeah. I'm like, yeah, if you have to re-log into something, can you just let me know? Because then I'm not feeling like I have to put out a fire.
I think the other thing I really recommend is people to have a VPN, virtual private network. When you're working with your clients' information, you have to remember to take it off if you're going to be using any AI, like if you're using ChatGPT or any of the other ones, because then VPNs those sites don't usually work if you have VPN on. But always remember to turn it on when you're working with your clients' information, because you want to protect them. You want to protect yourself.
Exactly. And I know when I signed up for cybersecurity insurance, there was clauses in there that says, do you have malware? Do you have, like, I had to agree that I was doing certain things because I've worked in this is actually my second client in the financial industry. So I have access to bank accounts, social security numbers, things like that. So this time I actually got a specific computer that's just for that client. Like it's not for anybody else. Nobody else is allowed to touch that computer. I don't do any other work on that computer, period. It's only for that specific client, which is not always doable, but I understand that. But he was also adamant about, I will provide you a computer. And it was somebody I knew. So that's another scam when people go, we'll send you a laptop and a new blah, 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 blah.
You just have to send us so much money.
Yeah. My husband's like, is it a scam? I'm like, I have known him for 5 years, so no, it's not a scam. Here, he's on Zoom. You want to meet him? Like, it's not a scam, because my husband's just like, what? You're going to buy? Because yeah, for sure. I think teaching your kids, especially your kids that have phones or, virtual school. I mean, a lot of our kids had to be on virtual school, so, my kids have taken virtual classes multiple times. So making sure we teach our kids is our responsibility as parents. Because like my daughter has Apple and I have Android, so I don't even know all the different, but I seen the other day that something in Apple got hacked. So I was like, make sure you change your stuff. So yeah, definitely for sure. Any last tips, Darlene, as we wrap up? And then we'll put your LinkedIn. Is your LinkedIn profile the best way to contact you?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. We always put that we always put everybody's LinkedIn's, but any last tips before we wrap up?
Number 1, follow your gut. Number 2, don't click. Number 3, make sure that there is an HTTPS. Make sure there's an S, and don't copy and paste unless you're doing the scam alert. Don't do copy and paste. Type in the information in the URL yourself, and do get the email protection. It does take your email longer, but it's well worth it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Darlene. We definitely appreciate that. Mr. Peter, go ahead, and then I will wrap us up, or you know how we do it.
Awesome. Yeah, I think for those Ignite students in the background, pay attention to the space. This will save you a headache later on down the road. Advice like this, I mean, you would think that a lot of it is common sense, but a lot of the time in our daily lives, we just don't pay attention to the common sense things. We seem to get wrapped up in our own spaces, and everything's happening so fast and so quick, and you're on the ball and everything is moving, and that one email comes through and you just respond, or you click, so take the time, slow down, make sure you've got everything in place, and do yourself a favor. If you want to learn more, then Darlene's LinkedIn will be in the description. Reach out, have a conversation. I mean, who knows where that goes. The other thing I would like to do is say to the Ignite students, in regards to this particular show, yes, it's us on the screen now, but this is coming from the community that we have already built, which is a global community of entrepreneurs from around the world. So one day you will be here. I remember the day when Hendrick was originally a student in the background in the Ignite program, and now Hendrick is in this space. So one day this will be your space. The bigger the space gets, or the more seen this space gets, the more you will get to be seen when you join this community at the end of the program. So share, do your part. We're doing our part, you do yours. We do this together as a community. So what I want you to do is send the code word, which is #champion, directly to Somerville. You Ignite students in the background, you do have access to Somerville. Send a message about something that you've learned from this particular show, and then send a message saying where you have shared this show. And you do know that you do not have to only share it in one place, right? You can share it everywhere. You can share it on Facebook, you can share it on LinkedIn, you can, wherever you want to share it, share it. The bigger this gets, the better we all do. So remember the code word, #champion. Guys, thank you so much for being in this space. It's been an absolute privilege. And Sondra, let me hand over back to you.
Oh, yes. I'm trying to wrap it up before the Ignite students need to get in to do class. So I'm like, give us a couple of minutes, please. We're going to talk about white space, putting white space, Peter, between meetings. Anyways, my name is Sondra. I'm a goal accountability coach. I help you reach your goals by helping you create bite-sized action plans, and the secret sauce is accountability. So let me help you get things done. We want to thank Miss Susan in the background. She does the covers, the show notes. She turns us into a podcast. So that is another way you can share us, is on Spotify. The podcast itself, if people are not, want to do audio or want to do YouTube. Yeah, Peter, why don't you send us off so we can get out of here, so people can keep kicking people out.
So in the famous words of Nastine Boerter, who is my co-founder, may all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true. Peace out.
See you guys, same place, same time next week.